We were at a fancy restaurant celebrating her best friend's birthday. A night that was supposed to be filled with good food, light jokes, and harmless conversation. The lighting was warm, the ambience elegant, and everyone seemed to be in a celebratory mood. My wife, Lauren, was sitting beside me, already 2 glasses of wine deep, laughing louder than usual. I could sense she wanted to impress her friends tonight. She always did. She always wanted to be the funniest, the boldest, the one with the most attention. I sat quietly enjoying my steak, listening to the conversation bounce around the table, unaware that the night would take a sharp, humiliating turn. Her friends began discussing their exes. Harmless stories. Nothing too personal. But Lauren always had a habit of taking things too far when she drank. She loved performing, loved being the center of every joke. When her friend Melissa asked jokingly, "Lauren, didn't you say your ex was a gym freak?" she smirked, looked at me for a split second, and then said loudly, "Oh, he wasn't just a gym freak. He was more of a man than my husband here." The table erupted in awkward laughter. Mine froze. For a moment, everything inside me went still. The way water becomes perfectly silent before a storm hits. I put my fork down slowly. I didn't react. I didn't even blink. I just observed her. Her flushed cheeks, her crooked laugh, the way she proudly leaned back as if she had delivered the joke of the century. My heart didn't break. It calcified. There's a special kind of pain that doesn't sting. It just makes you colder. Everyone at the table noticed my stillness. The women exchanged glances. The men looked down at their plates, pretending they hadn't heard the insult. Lauren didn't notice any of it. She was too busy sipping her wine and giggling, proud of her comedic moment, thinking she'd impress the group. And maybe once years ago, I would have brushed it off, forced a laugh, and pretended I wasn't hurt. But not tonight. I didn't react because I realized something important in that moment. She wasn't joking. Jokes carry truth hidden beneath humor. She wanted to embarrass me, belittle me, make herself look bold at my expense. And that's when I understood respect doesn't disappear in a day. It evaporates slowly, moment by moment, until there's nothing left but a shell. The table conversation awkwardly shifted to something else. But I could feel everyone occasionally glancing at me, waiting to see what I do. I stayed calm, composed, letting the tension grow naturally. Lauren kept laughing with Melissa, oblivious to the unease around her. She had no idea that she'd crossed a line she couldn't uncross. But I wasn't going to explode or start an argument. No. My response would be quieter, sharper, unforgettable. The waiter arrived with a check, splitting the bill between the couples. When he placed ours down in front of me, Lauren leaned in and whispered, "Relax. It was just a joke. Don't be dramatic." Her tone was dismissive, irritated, as if I was the problem. She didn't know that her joke had already changed everything. She didn't know I had already made a decision. I picked up the check, glanced at it, and then placed it in front of her. "You pay it," I said calmly. The table went silent again. Lauren's smile slowly faded. "What? Why?" she asked, confused, scoffing nervously. I leaned back, folding my arms. "Since your ex was more of a man than me, I figured you wouldn't mind paying for the meal your lesser man shared with you." That single line hit her like a truck. Her face dropped instantly like she'd been slapped in front of a live audience. Her friends stared wide-eyed, frozen mid-breath. Even the couple sitting at the table behind us went still. You could hear the clink of a fork somewhere in the distance. She looked around embarrassed, suddenly realizing how badly she had humiliated herself. "Not me. I didn't mean it like that," she whispered, voice trembling. The confidence she had earlier evaporated. Melissa placed a hand on her arm, but Lauren pulled away, staring at me like she didn't recognize the man sitting beside her. "It was just a joke," she repeated, smaller this time, almost childlike. I shook my head. "A joke is only funny when both people laugh," I replied coldly. Her eyes filled with tears, but she quickly blinked them away, trying not to cry at the table. The waiter returned at the worst possible moment, and she awkwardly reached for her purse with trembling hands. She paid, cheeks burning with humiliation, and no one said a word. The dinner continued awkwardly for a few minutes, but the energy had died. Everyone was too busy replaying the moment in their heads. When we finally stood to leave, her friends hugged her with stiff, uncomfortable smiles. They weren't judging me, they were judging her. They had seen the disrespect, the unnecessary cruelty, the ego. They had also seen how calmly I handled it. She realized that, too. As we walked toward the parking lot, she tried grabbing my hand. I slipped mine away. "Please talk to me," she said quietly. "I messed up." "Okay, I shouldn't have said that." I unlocked the car but didn't get in. "No," I said. "You shouldn't have thought it." The words hit her harder than anything I'd said all night because she knew I was right. You don't joke about something you don't secretly believe. She broke down in the parking lot, tears streaming, mascara smudging. "Please don't give up on us," she whispered. "I love you." I was stupid. I was trying to impress them. I swear I didn't mean it. I watched her cry, not with anger, but with clarity. This wasn't the first line she crossed. It was just the first one I refused to ignore. I finally opened my door and looked at her one last time. "Respect isn't a joke," I said quietly. "And if you ever make me the punchline again, there won't be a second warning." She nodded desperately, wiping her tears, knowing I meant every word. As we drove home in silence, she held her ring with shaking fingers, finally understanding something she should have known all along. The man she mocked in front of everyone was not the man she could control. And that single calm sentence spoken at the right moment would haunt her longer than any anger ever could.